I don't exactly say what season it is when I'm making these videos because this is going through a whole year. So we'll go through the whole 4 seasons of the year. And I've been kind of wearing the same thing with this sweatshirt because generally in mornings I like to stay warm. But I guess you could try to guess the season with the things that I say currently. I do have to say, I do have kind of sinuses and nose is runny, so I have to blow my nose. My throat is dry. I don't know. You want to take a guess? Thank you for joining me this morning. And it is morning time, so I haven't skipped a day yet. I think there's a couple days that I did skip. I'm gonna have to go back to those days and make sure I have every day of the year because I am not perfect. I'm tired. I get tired. I sleep in, whatever happens. And I think it was early when I started Proverbs when I decided I'm just going to go ahead and do an everyday stream for a whole year. So there's some days I was just trying it out because I'm not professional at streaming and making content and everything. I do have a lot of videos on my site. That's just me playing video games, but actually doing talking, that's a little bit different. So in this particular video, like the streams, I don't do any edits, but sometimes for my gaming streams or gaming content, I would edit it sometimes, depending on what it is. Check it out if you have time. Anyways, we're continuing on. We're on day 47, and continuing in Proverbs 10, pretty long. There's 29 verses. It just seems long because we're only doing two verses. These are standalone pieces of wisdom, and we're just going two at a time because if I go through the whole thing, there's a lot. If I just go through the whole chapter, and I didn't want to go through the whole chapter anyways, I wanted to go through small sections and just kind of bring out and talk a little bit more about each of them as for my daily devotion. Yeah, and I encourage you, if you don't have a daily devotion you're doing, you can join me in our journey. This is day 47 of 365. 365 days of Proverbs. That's what we're doing. We're working in the ESV. Any version you work in is totally fine. Meaning is generally the same as we're thinking of wisdom as it pertains to what it says in Proverbs. And we all believe that Proverbs is from Solomon, talking to young men or people who come into the audience of him, and he's just giving out advice about life. And one of the main things is wisdom is next to kin to God himself, where God has created it, and they kind of go hand in hand because the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So once you understand God and the position he's in, then you understand that wisdom is a really good way to go if you're going to follow him and do all that. Now you could go ahead and read our baselines. It's in the description, but I'll put it on each of my I just have it right there if you just want to pause and look at it. That's totally fine. But the baselines has to do with following wisdom and being a man of righteousness or woman, whatever you identify as, just being wise in the way you do things, living righteously. So I'll refer back to the baselines as we talk, depending on what we talk about. And today we're in Proverbs 10 still, and Proverbs 10, 28 to 29 in the ESV. Let me go ahead and read this through. Pretty simple, simply put, but deeply put. Verse 28. The hope of the righteous brings joy, but the expectation of the wicked will perish. The way of the Lord is a stronghold to the blameless, but destruction to evildoers. So let's go ahead and put down the people. The subjects we're talking about is talking about the righteous. We're talking about the wicked. And they're talking about evildoers. The way of the Lord, I'm kind of not That is the subject. I'll put that in the yellow because it's not like, because this is talking about humans. This is talking about the way of the Lord is talking about a path. See, the hope of the righteous, actually, it is interesting. The hope of the righteous. Yeah, let me go. I'll underline this. That's not underlined. And the expectation of the wicked. Right. So you can see the dichotomy here. They're comparing two things: the hope of the righteous, the expectation of the wicked. Now, which is interesting because when it's talking about hope, it's talking about an inner belief that something in the future will come to pass. Okay. Well, expectation is I'm expecting this to happen. This is kind of removed from hope. It's the nuance is very slight here. Hope and expectations kind of are synonyms, you could go to say, but hope has this added nuance of faith, so to say, uh, of a bright future, of a positive expectation. Could be anything, because I don't hope for my own destruction, but you can expect destruction. See the difference? Hope has this positive connotations, while expectation has kind of a general connotation. um in this case, it's a negative. It's a negative. And so people who hope and are in the righteous will bring joy, and the expectation of the wicked will perish. And if you are a righteous person and you understand the baselines of Proverbs and generally following Christ, that you have an expectation of a bright future, as in a spiritual future, emotional future, and all that, where you know that there's the future hope of going to heaven, future hope that and faith that God has got your back, and whatever happens to you, you will still stand firm. That brings joy, knowing that you are secure. I know that there is financial instability in the world today, but that's going to happen because that's a material thing. And that's the path of the wicked. Wicked puts their trust in themselves. The wicked puts their trust in material things of the world. But those things are temporary, and they're not actually ours. The only thing that belongs to us are our own attitudes and our minds. Those are the things that are ours. Like this computer, the things that I have, my job, those are temporary things that I may not have in the future, but what I will have is myself and my beliefs and my faith and the things that are meaningful, like my connection to my family and all those things. But when it comes to the things that I have, like my car, my house, this computer that I really love, and all those things are temporary. And so you should hold loosely to the things that um, are of this world. Now, I don't know if I told this story before, but my friend he was very, very, very deep when he thought about it. Um, Took his car, he got a new Tesla, and he went to go to the car wash. And what happened was the car wash little spinner thingies rubbed up against the back top corner of the trunk, um, back corner. So it's the tip top back of the car, and it literally smashed in a little bit. Scraped the paint and smashed it in and kind of damaged the car. Now, this is new Tesla. Teslas are considered, I guess, would be luxury cars for a poorer person. A little bit more affordable than getting like a BMW or something like that. I don't know the stats on that. You can check me on that chat. You know, I don't know. Um, but I don't have a chat. But the idea is, after he kind of thought about it, he realized that, you know what, this is not the end of the world. in the end of the day, a car is just a car. And actually, if you know anything about cars, once you buy it and take it off the lot, it starts depreciating in price because there's a timer on every car. A car will eventually die and you have to get a new one. Now, is that some um, insidious plan of the car makers? Just like with the iPhones and stuff like that, where they make it so that it will depreciate over time and will eventually break down and you have to buy a new one. I don't know, but it's a mechanical thing. It's a thing made by humans, and eventually it will fall. It will deteriorate. Time will make it rust. The parts start getting old. You have to take care of it and over just to make sure that it survives. And so yeah, it's a thing. It will go away eventually. It will perish. And that's why when the expectation of the wicked will perish. So this constant striving for financial wealth or material wealth, that thing will go away. It's not eternal. It's not um I don't want to say real. It is real. It's like tangible. It's tangible. You can see it. But the reality is you have no actual control over that stuff. It happens. Government can take it all away if we want to live in a socialist society. But we're not in a socialist society yet. But it is getting pretty bad based on what I've seen. Reading content and looking at news and all that kind of stuff. A lot of people are struggling out there. So you have no control over whether you have a job or not. Meaning other people taking it away from you. You have control over doing your best, making the best of what you have. If you're like me, an educator, then you be the best educator that you be, so that you are blameless. I think that's the word, blameless. That you're doing your due diligence to do your job really well. And if you're doing that, great on you. And you just hope that you'll just be able to continue to be that way. But again, we have no control over of what happens ultimately. Okay, God's in control generally, um, but He's not controlling everything. So He's allowing us to control things and people control things. Satan is obviously at work around, like even messing me up. Satan messes me up, and so I have to ask for forgiveness daily because of my sins. I'm not perfect, but it brings me joy knowing that I'm secure in what I have now. And I'm sure that if it was all taken away from me, I will still continue to try my best to do what's good for me and my family. If we're homeless, and we'll find the way somehow. So that's the way I think. I would utilize all my resources to try to do what's best for my family. That's what I'll do. Okay, get them through school, help them to be successful best they can. I know it's getting harder for the young because of the lack of jobs, whatever, but we'll continue on. So I hope for the future because I have an inner hope and a joy. But if I wasn't following Christ, if I wasn't following wisdom, you know what? I could see myself as depressed. I'm expecting bad things, knowing I will be judged. Okay. So, which leads to verse 29, the way of the Lord is a stronghold to the blameless. So, um, thank God there is Jesus Christ who helps us to be blameless. Because we could go to him, ask for forgiveness, and really try to change ourselves who are stuck in our sins. We don't have to be stuck in our sins because God is there as a firm stronghold. And I remember we talked about the person who builds their house on the rock stands first on the sand. So when you're living a life of wisdom, living a life righteously, blamelessly, then that is your walk and your stand and everything. And that's the way of the Lord. So when you're with God, the bastion of strength, where no matter what kind of fiery darts of the enemy kind of is thrown at you, you'll be okay. Even if you lose materially everything, you'll be okay because the stronghold is your Lord. Okay? But but the way of the Lord is destruction to you. There is because you'll be judged. Because yeah, if you're not living righteously, you're doing the opposite. Being selfish, focused on material wealth, not caring about other people, caring about yourself, seeking the destruction of other people is actually finding different ways in which to um, hurt others to put you above whatever. So, I don't know. So follow the way. That is your strength. That is your stronghold. That is your security. That is the place where you can find comfort and peace when you are in the Lord. And that kind of comfort will happen even in times of tragedy, in times of hurtfulness, in times of things going really bad, because it can. You have no control over that. So, but we do have control over who we follow. I don't know. That's what I got this morning. If you have any other comments or questions, go ahead and put that in the chat. And yeah, have a wonderful day. Have a good day. No, have a great day. All right. Talk to you guys next.